Okay guys, we're back with another episode of the Seth Solo Side Quest. I'm Seth from the Lonely Stoner podcast, and this episode we're going to be previewing WWE Backlash, the event that's happening this weekend, the first WWE Premium Live event since WrestleMania, and we're going to be going through the card and giving my predictions on who I think is going to win. So kicking off the card is going to be the IC title match between Dominic Mysterio and Penta. Now, where Dominic Mysterio has just won the title at Mania, won the IC title at Mania, you wouldn't think he's going to lose the belt immediately against Penta on this PLE. That being said, it is Penta, and they are clearly trying to build Penta up. And to be honest, if they gave Penta an IC title reign this earlier into his run, I wouldn't be mad at it. I'd be pretty okay with that. I think that's a good idea, especially if you're going to have like a long-term story between Dominic and Penta, which I don't know what route they're going to go down. Maybe that's the route they're going down, where they have Dominic and Penta feud for a while, or maybe you'll even have Penta win because Finn Balor costs Dominic the belt, and then you truly have the end of the Judgment Day at that point. So I could see that happening, so I would go with Penta to win that match. Then you've got the IC Fatal 4-Way match. That's Jacob Fatu, LA Knight, and Drew McIntyre. Apologies if you could hear that noise. That is a fucked up car. I'm in a car park right now. There's a fucked up car driving by some old man. That car is cooked. Anyway, like I said, the Fatal 4-Way for the US title is Jacob Fatu, LA Knight, Drew McIntyre, and Damian Priest. To be honest, I quite like matches like this when you're kind of mixing storylines together to have like a Fatal 4-Way match. Again, Jacob Fatu, he's just won the belt at Mania. They look like he's a guy they're still trying to build. He'll probably retain the belt. Gunter v Pat McAfee. This is going to be a very short preview because, you know, I'm not going into the storylines leading up to it. Obviously, we know Drew McIntyre and Damian Priest are in a storyline, and Jacob Fatu just beat LA Knight for the US belt. You know, I imagine you guys know this already. And I'd be surprised if Drew or Damian won the match. Obviously, because them two, their storyline, it kind of doesn't need a title because the storyline is a bit boring. But do you know what I mean? It doesn't need it. It hasn't had one to this point, so does it really need one? And then LA Knight just lost the belt, so I doubt they're going to put the belt back on him now, right? So yeah, Jacob Fatu win, and probably with LA Knight or Priest getting pinned, I'd imagine. The next we've got Gunter v Pat McAfee, which is a bit of a joke, if I'm being honest. You know, Gunter's spent the majority of his time in WWE as a champion, and now he's facing Pat McAfee for jokes, I guess. Like, not even for a title, for nothing, for bragging rights, if that's what we're doing here. Yeah, like I said, a bit of a joke of a match, but yeah, picking Gunter to win that. I hope that match hasn't gone for long. I hope that's a 5, 6, 7 minute long match where Gunter just smacks the brakes off of Pat McAfee. Then we've got the women's IC title match, Lyra Valkyria v Becky Lynch. Again, a match that I give absolutely 0 Fs about. Whoever wins this, couldn't care less. Lyra, I mean, all these chicks, they're a bit corny to me to watch, if I'm being honest. Becky, never really understood why she was so popular, if I'm being honest. Her promos always sound cringe because she's a skinny little woman. Like, what are you really going to do, right? You're talking like you could beat up anyone. You know, I could beat you in a boxing match with one arm tied behind my back, right? So, yeah, never really rated Becky Lynch too tough. I guess she's seen somewhat as a legend nowadays in WWE. But I don't think she'll be winning the WWE IC Women's title, which is... it's a joke that belt even exists, but I don't see Becky Lynch winning it, nonetheless. And that takes us on to the main event, which is Cena v Orton for the WWE Championship. Again, it's in Randy Orton's hometown, but... Again, just like I said at Mania, for the Mania champions, like, there's no way they're having Cena lose the belt this early on. That's just not going to happen. So Cena's going to retain, whether it's disqualification or whatever. You know, it's a dirty finish or Buki. He wins by Buki means, I don't know. But Cena's retaining the belt. End of, right? And they are wasting this too early. I said this in another SideQuest video. They're wasting Cena v Orton too early. It could happen again some way down the line, but I don't imagine it would. But yeah, like I said, I imagine Cena will be retaining and Orton will not become 15-time WWE champion. But yeah, this is looking like a decent card. I'm not super excited. Obviously, I'm excited to see Penta, Mysterio. The Fatal 4-Way will be decent. And then the main event, Cena v Orton, it'll be must-watch because it's probably the last time these two guys will wrestle. But historically, these guys haven't put on great matches. You know, I couldn't name off the top of my head an amazing Cena v Orton match, right? So I wouldn't be watching for that. But yeah, we'll see. We'll see what's next for Backlash. I'll hopefully be making a review for it at some point after the event happens. But yeah, another episode of the Seth solo side quest in the bag, and I'm out. Peace.